This is the embalming room. And it's a gem. It's even got the tools and blood. That is actual blood. Look at that moldy ceiling. This place is loaded with mold, black mold. Exploring the M McLendon Funeral Home was a bit crazy and a bit disturbing because when I got there, I had no idea of all of this history. I had heard some rumblings of things that went on there, like they had found a body in a casket and things like that, but I had no idea that there was this much horrible and really tragic history with the funeral home.
Tonight, medical examiners are working to identify 2 corpses they found rotting inside this old funeral home. Investigators say the former director of McLendon Funeral Home was paid to cremate the bodies, but didn't. Eyewitness News reporter Alexa Ashwell is in Wadesboro tonight, where there's still a very active investigation going on right now. Alexa?
The medical examiner left about an hour ago. Investigators said they will not be able to identify the bodies right now because they are so badly decomposed. But the big question we're asking tonight is how these bodies weren't noticed sooner. Officials shut down the funeral home about 2 years ago. Chopper 9 was there as investigators wearing protective clothing searched the former McLendon Funeral Home just hours after the woman who used to run it showed police where she had been hiding a body. Investigators said it was in a casket wrapped in cloths. What they saw across the room shocked them even more.
The other body was on the table.
Another body out in the open. Investigators said former director Mary McLendon led police to the body today after she was convicted in court of obtaining property under false pretenses. Investigators said she failed to take a body to a crematorium after accepting money for funeral costs. Then the judge ordered she show police where she put the body. And Channel 9 learned this isn't the first time. In 2012, we reported McLendon lost her license after 3 bodies were discovered inside the home. She did not face criminal charges in that case.
So we got into this funeral home, and the floor is all collapsing right here, so you really gotta be careful. This is the office. Come over here. You get that grimy casket. Almost looks like somebody just in that thing. So when we made our way into the M McLendon Funeral Home, we came across a back room that was pitch black, but it had a silver casket inside of it. So we lit the room and photographed this casket. At the time, we didn't know because we hadn't read much into it, but you could tell that the casket had been actually used. There was some decomp and discoloration and rot and a little bit of a foul odor that went along with this casket. Didn't think too much of it until we left the funeral home and looked into it and started to read these news articles that particular silver casket was indeed the casket where they had found a decomposing body inside of. So the casket room is right there. Coming to here, private. This is the embalming room. And it's a gem. Even got the tools and blood. That is actual blood on the table here. Get a closer look this way. You can see it's definitely blood and bodily fluids. The embalming room at the funeral home actually still had the gurney that the decomposing body had actually been resting on for all that time, which I'm sure is why in some of the video and the photos you could really see some blood, guts, maybe pieces of flesh and bone. It was really hard to tell because it was so old and decomposed, but yeah, you could literally see it on the table and on that gurney still when we were inside, which just adds to the horror that once took place inside that funeral home. slow funeral. Cool sign. Some old hemostats. Razor. Jaundice cases. Jaundy balm. So on top of the mold, you got bodily fluids too that you got to worry about. So from the embalming room, come this way over to the chapel, which really isn't much, but does have some chairs set up and old cross windows that have kind of been busted out, but still cool. You can see that this is where they had the funerals. Cross windows are cool. I believe the windows were red crosses at one time. Black mold all over the ceiling. Old wilted fan. Old gravestones. And then you can see after the gravestone is the room. It's all collapsed where you first come in at. And then back through that room is where the casket was. And then through there is where the chapel is. So you can see how dangerous it is. Floor's collapsing. Just gotta watch your step everywhere you go. That wraps up the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. Go to Abandoned Central for more videos. Appreciate y'all. Thanks. In 2021, the M McLendon Funeral Home was finally demolished, ending a years-long heartache and a constant reminder for the locals of the tragedy that unfolded at the funeral home.